Fauci fatigue is here, and it is real, folks. It's like the old adage, from where we've started, we've got nowhere to go. Well, COVID's poster boy did himself no favors from the start. Fauci's questionable ties to the infamous lab in Wuhan notwithstanding, his conflicting statements have made him an easy target. But lately, flip-flop Fauci has been particularly testy, his heated exchange with Senator Rand Paul showing the cracks forming.
Dr. Fauci, knowing that it is a crime to lie to Congress, do you wish to retract your statement of May 11th where you claimed that the NIH never funded gain-of-function research in Wuhan?
I have never lied before the Congress, and I do not retract that statement. Let me finish.
You take an animal virus and you increase its transmissibility to humans.
Right.
You're saying that's not gain-of-function?
Yeah, that is correct. And Senator Paul, you do not know what you are talking about, quite frankly.
Well, Fauci's credibility is questionable, and Americans have certainly spoken. A recent poll shows that as many as 50% have opted to not get vaccinated, citing distrust of the government as their reasoning. And Fauci's latest comments on masks likely won't get him more fans.
You know, Jake, this is under active consideration. If you're asking, am I part of the discussion? Yes, I am. However, if you look at what's going on locally, in the trenches, in places like L.A. County, the local officials have the discretion, and the CDC agrees with that ability and discretion capability to say, you know, you're in a situation where we're having a lot of dynamics of infection, so even if you are vaccinated, you should wear a mask.
So clearly, America's relationship with Fauci has become toxic, but it looks like someone is taking action. Last week, Senator Paul made good on his threat to refer Fauci to the Justice Department for allegedly lying to Congress about funding gain-of-function research at the Wuhan Institute of Virology. In his latest article, Newsmax insider Tom Borelli says it is high time for America's, quote, favorite doctor to step down. And Tom joins us now. Tom, great to have you with us this evening.
Great to be back with you guys.
Well, you know, we were talking earlier in the show about the growing pessimism among Americans. A lot of this is on Biden's watch, but I think Fauci's to blame as well. Your thoughts?
Yeah, Jen, certainly. Look, Dr. Fauci has been all over the map since the beginning of the pandemic. In fact, he was very late to the game to recognize the pandemic. And after all, that was his job. Since then, he's flip-flopped so many times. And he's most concerned, and he says he's most concerned about a lower vaccination rate with Republicans. Well, if you're trying to reach Republicans, Fauci is the absolute last person to try to communicate that message. We just saw the clip where he's fighting with Dr. Rand Paul, Senator Rand Paul. He essentially called him a liar. Fauci seems very defensive over the funding of the Wuhan lab, where the virus most likely, in my estimation, came from. He's very defensive. Republicans and conservatives just turn him off. He's not the right guy to get the message if you want higher vaccination rates.
So, Tom, how does that message get across to those people that are saying, you know what, I really don't trust the vaccine, I don't want to get it? How does the left kind of increase those vaccination rates?
Well, you know, it's funny. Dr. Fauci said it himself. I think he was on Face the Nation. He said, we need more trusted people, not like myself, who's from the government. I mean, but yet then he goes on to numerous Sunday talk shows again. You need different messengers. You need to reach out. If you want to get conservatives, guess what? Find some conservative messengers. That might work, right?
Right.
But no, they're going to stick with the same team with Fauci, and it's going to have the reverse effect. And now they're talking about mandates. If you want Republicans or conservatives to do something, you don't ram it down their throats. We're all adults. Explain the science to the American people. Explain it to conservatives. Find conservative messengers. Look, I have a degree in undergraduate degree in microbiology, got a Ph.D. in molecular biology. I would gladly carry some messages to conservatives, but no one's reaching out to me.
Sure. No, and I have to say, you know, listen, I do television for a living. I don't like being on camera nearly as much as Dr. Fauci does. And again, for me, it's my living. It's not supposed to be for him. But Tom, given your scientific expertise, I want to ask you this, because I think sometimes these phrases, they gain currency and we just use them almost flippantly. Can you explain in simple terms, in case people out there don't know exactly, what does gain of function really mean at its essence? And why is it so dangerous to trust a Chinese communist-controlled lab with gain of function research?
Well, first of all, Steve, I wouldn't give 1 cent to China in the first place, because what they loot, billions of dollars from us in intellectual property. So that's number one. But I think Dr. Rand Paul, Senator Paul, did a great job of explaining gain of function research. In one paper that Fauci was, Rand Paul was talking about, they took bats from bats from a cave in China. They isolated the virus, they brought it to the Wuhan lab, and then they gave it, by genetically modifying it and playing around with it, they gave it the ability to infect human cells. I mean, that's literally a gain of function. The virus was happy running around in its little cave. They took it out of its natural habitat, brought it to a lab, and then created what could potentially be the Frankenstein monster if the virus, if it really did come from that lab.
Sure. And just quickly, if you would, Tom, are there legitimate reasons to do that research if we're doing them here under the, safe controls in the United States?
Steve, that's a great question. I'm pretty much a skeptic of gain of function. Look, I spent many years in the labs. People do make mistakes in labs. I'm not sure if the risk is worth the benefit.
Even in the U.S., understood.
Even in the U.S.
Tom Borelli, listen, thank you so much for joining us this evening. Appreciate you being here.
Thank you.